Hi, I thought I'd talk about in this video is some ideas for building your own chord progressions. Now, I don't believe you can teach creativity, and I'm not a great fan of trying to teach compositional technique per se. I think you should use your own creative skills. But what I thought I'd do here is to show you a couple of ideas, some things that I sometimes use when I'm trying to come up with chord progressions, and maybe to give you some inspiration or some ideas for things you can do with your own work. Now, if you want to build a chord progression, one thing you can do is you could decide what key you're playing in. You could just pick chords from the key. So you could say you're playing in the key of C major, write out the chords and say, right, well, I'm going to start with the C major chord, then I'm going to play an A minor chord, then I'm going to play a D minor chord, whatever. Musically it's going to be correct because you're picking diatonic chords, so all the notes are going to be right, but it's a little bit of a formulaic way of coming up with progressions. So here's another way of doing it. I'm not saying it's the right way, I'm not saying it's the only way, it's a little technique that I mess around with sometimes, just to to come up with ideas for chord progressions. So what I'll do is I'll start off with a fairly familiar chord. So say in this example, this is something I was playing around with the other day. Just started off on an A minor chord. A minor chord you're probably familiar with, just the open position, open E string, first finger on the first fret on the B string, giving us a C, second fret on the third string to give us an A, and second fret on the fourth string to give us an E, saying an open A and E strings on the bottom there. So there's things I could do. That's my basic A minor chord. What I could do is I could take that index finger off and just play an open B string, and that would basically give me an A sus2 chord. It's got quite a nice sound. Or I could start on that A minor chord and I could take my ring finger off to play an open G, which gives me an A minor 7. Or I could keep that A minor shape and bring my little finger down onto the third fret on the top E string, giving me a G there. What I probably wouldn't do is go from the A minor to an A major, because you wouldn't get the A minor and the A major in the same key. You might use them as like passing chords. You play an outside chord, but just thinking in terms of diatonic chords, it's probably not a way to go. What I settled on in this example though was, I thought, well, what I can do is I can put my little finger down on the third fret on the second string to give me a D, and that gives me an A sus4 chord. So start on an A minor and go up to a sus4. It's quite a nice sound. I thought, well, where can I take it from there? Well, what I could do is I've moved the note on the second string up by 2 frets from there to there. I thought about possibly moving the other two notes, fretted notes of the chord, on the third and the fourth string up by 2 semitones as well. It gives me this shape. What I'm going to do though is I'm still going to play the open E string, so I'm not moving the chord shape up completely. I'm just moving those two notes on the third and fourth string. In terms of what chord that is, I guess we could call it a B minor add 11, because we've got a B, a D, and we've got an F sharp. We've also got an E on the top there. So that takes us progression from A minor, A sus4, up to that B minor add 11. So where was going to go from there? Well, I thought the next sort of logical thing to do would be to put my little finger down on the 5th fret on the second string, sort of like mirroring the way that I moved from the A to the A sus4. Going to go from the B chord there to a sus4. The problem with doing that is that's just going to give me an E note, which I've already got on the open E string. So I thought what I could do then is I could use the second string to give me my E note by fretting at the 5th, but on the first string fret at the 3rd fret to give me a G. should give me this chord. Now in terms of what chord that is, it's looking a bit like an E minor of sorts, because we've got an E, a G and a B, and we've also got an F sharp there as well, so it would say it's an E minor over an F sharp bass note. So that gives us 4 chords we can put together in a progression, something that goes from A minor, A sus4, up to that B minor add 11, and then to that E minor over the F sharp bass. So there's a pleasant enough chord sequence. I was looking at the way that the notes are generally moving, and I thought, well, another place to take this. I want another section. I don't want to just play the same chords over and over again. I thought we'll have a bit of a break. So I started thinking about, well, what key could I possibly be playing in here? Well, there's A minor type chord, a B minor type chord, and a E minor type chord. That combination of minor chords would occur in E natural minor or G major. So what I thought would be interesting to do is, we started off on an A minor chord at the start of the progression. How about going to a different type of A minor chord? And the chord progression generally seems to be moving up the neck a little bit, so how about an A minor 7 chord here? We're just fretting all the notes at the 4th fret, the 5th fret across the top 4 strings. And then from there, just for the heck of it, let's go down to G major. So it gives us a... And you could play those different ways, or across all 6 strings, but here I'm just messing around with some ideas on the top 4 strings. So that gives us another little section. So we've got the main chord progression, A minor, A sus4, B minor add 11, E minor over an F sharp bass. We'll play that through a few times, and then go to a A minor, G major bridge. Okay, so there's a group of chords. Just playing them in isolation there, you might not get too much of an idea of what's going on. It's, when you're doing this sort of exercise, it's about experimenting and just playing what sounds good to you. What I'm kind of showing you is the end result of something that came out of a little bit of tinkering that I was doing the other day. So, having decided what chords we've got 2 sections. We've got the first bit of progression, and then another section. Okay, so let's put those together and see what falls out. Done there, playing the chords through with a bit of a rhythm. It's not just a strict 1 bar, 1 chord sort of approach. There's a bit of a beat there. Put some rhythm to the chords, and it makes it sound a bit more pleasing, something a bit more musical, rather than just a study in moving from one chord to another. Now, the way those derive that chord progression, it's just one way of working. Just looking at chords and seeing, well, what can I alter, what can I move to get me to another chord shape. Not saying it's the right way, it's just it's one particular way of working. But it's a nice way to experiment and to think about what are the chord shapes at your disposal if you just start off on one chord shape and say, well, what can I add, what can I move to give me something new. And you can, it's just shown there, small number of chords. You can come up with a progression, and it gives you something musical, something that you can use. So there you go. There's an idea. Hopefully you'll find that inspiring, useful, and help you come up with your own chord progressions and help you with your own music writing.